Welcome to 5th grade math. In this video, we are going to be multiplying whole numbers by powers of 10. All right, you probably noticed there are 8 problems on your screen. We are going through the 8 problems, and hopefully by number 8, you will notice a pattern or rule we can use when multiplying numbers by a power of 10. So let's look at number 1. 5 times 1. Now 1 is not a power of 10, but I put it on here because you can notice on the left side, numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, they are 5 times 1, 5 times 10, 5 times 100, 5 times 1,000. What we want to do is notice a pattern as we work through these problems. All right, so let's look at number 1. We all know 5 times 1 equals 5. Again, 1 is not a power of 10. The powers of 10 are 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1,000,000, and so on. Okay, let's continue to number 2. 5 times 10, we know our basic fact of 5 times 1, which is 5, and we add our 0, so 5 times 10 we know is 50. Number 3, 5 times 100. Same thing, our basic fact is 5 times 1. And we have our 2 zeros to make 500. Number 4, 5 times 1,000. Basic fact, 5 times 1. Easy peasy is 5. And we have our 3 zeros we need to put into our problem. And we have 5,000. Now I'm going to line these numbers up to the right by their place value. And I want you to see and notice where the 5 is placed. So we have 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 10, we have 50. 5 times 100, we have 500. 5 times 1,000, we have 5,000. Okay, now I just want to focus on these numbers. So when we had our 5, where did our 5 move to? It moved to our tens place when we multiplied it by 10. How did we get that 5 to that tens place? Well, we had to put in a 0. Now, same thing. When we went to 5 times 100, we needed to bump that 5. And how did we do that? We put in 2 zeros. Same thing for 5 times 1,000. We needed to bump that 5. And how did we do that? We had to put in 3 zeros to turn that into the thousandths place. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these patterns. Notice we have 3 zeros in that 5,000. We have 3 zeros in our answer. For 5 times 100, we have 2 zeros, and we have 2 zeros. 5 times 10, we have 1 zero, and we have 1 zero. Whenever you are multiplying by powers of 10, all you're doing is moving the digit to the left of the place value chart to increase the value. And we do that by putting the 0 on the end to push everything to the right spot. Now let's look at number 5. 35 times 100. All this is saying is that we're moving that 35 2 spaces. So we have to move our 3 2 spaces to the left and we need to move our 5 2 spaces to the left. And we need to put 2 zeros on the end of 35. So we're going to have our 35 add our 2 zeros to make 3,500. An easy way to say this is add 2 zeros at the end, but it does not show that we completely understand what we're doing. If you want to think like that, it's fine, but make sure you understand that we're putting the 2 zeros there on the end of 35 in order to push everything to the correct placed value so we get the correct answer. Okay, now let's take a look at number 6. We have 19 times 10 squared, or 19 times 10 to the second power. Okay, let's take a look at that exponent, 2. All that is saying is this is 10 times 10, which we know is going to equal 100. So our problem is stating 19 times 100. How many zeros are we going to need to push for that 19 to become into the correct place value? We have 2. So our answer, we have 19 with our 2 zeros, or 1,900. Now when we have these exponents, we have an exponent of 2, that means we have 2 zeros. That exponent, it's only telling you how many zeros you need to push those digits over to the left to get to the correct place value. Okay, now let's take a look at number 7. We have 40 times 1,000. Notice 40 already has a 0 on the end. We still need to push that 4 2 spaces to the left and that 0 2 spaces to the left. Then we need to add an additional 3 zeros to make sure everything gets into the right place value. So I'm writing my 40, but then I still need to add the additional 3 zeros to come up with 40,000. Make sure you do not forget this 0 in 40. All right, now number 8. 74 times 10 to the third power. Now the third power, all that is saying is 10 times 10 times 10, which we know is going to equal 1,000. So our problem is really 74 times 1,000. And we're just going to do the same thing that we've been doing. How many places do we need to move our 74? Well, we need to move it 3 places. So we have 74, moving that 3 places, we're going to come up with 74,000. Now that's multiplying whole numbers by powers of 10. We're using zeros to get our numbers to the correct place value.